Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood. The Buccos have tied it up in St. Louis. Pretty impressive. Oviedo went out, got the start tonight. It was 4-1. He pitched five Ks, just giving up one run through five. And then Andrew Heaney came in, gave up 5 earned runs in 2/3 innings of work, gets yanked. And now the Bucks did tie it. So it's 6-6 right now in the 9th. We'll keep you updated with some score updates as we go through this. But I'm joined alongside Mr. Andrew Fillipponi tonight. Hey, Pony. How are you tonight?
Cassidy, good to see you again. It's been a little bit, so I'm excited to do the show with you this evening.
Yeah, super excited. So Oviedo getting the start tonight. I thought it was reassuring that after coming off of an injury like Tommy John, he's able to go in and have the outing he did. I thought it was interesting that they pulled him after just 53 pitches. I would have, he was doing really well. I would have liked to see him out there maybe a little bit longer, but it does make sense when a guy goes through something that serious like Tommy John, you're a little hesitant to play him for an extended period of time. But hey, this first outing, he looked great. As for Andrew Heaney, not so much.
Yeah, I don't understand why Andrew Heaney's still here. I think every Pirates fan who's watching these games probably has the same reaction, so I'm not saying anything earth-shattering. He's on an expiring contract. He's really been a dreadful pitcher since around May 1st. He was excellent the first month of the season, and it's been a steep descent ever since then. If you could not find a taker for him at the trade deadline, okay. I don't understand why innings are going to him when he has no future with the team. Allow for young players or for guys maybe you get from outside the organization. I don't care if you claim them off waivers, but just give opportunities to guys who might factor into your long-term planning or even next year's planning, and we know that Andrew Heaney does not do that. So I don't really get that. I don't know why I have to keep watching Colin Holderman pitch. It's really those two guys that, even in a wasted year, I think you want to be more thoughtful about how you utilize pitchers in games. And, look, Oviedo, I'm with you. I understand that you want to treat these guys with kid gloves and put diapers on them when they're coming off of Tommy John surgery. But it was only 56 pitches, and, because of that, because he only goes 4, he can't qualify for a win. So I would have liked to have seen him go out there for one more winning inning and give him a chance to win a game in St. Louis, the team that he was developed by and then traded to the Pirates from.
Yeah, a little bit of a revenge game for him. It was nice to see for sure. We'll keep you guys updated on the score as we continue throughout Sports Call. But you mentioned the trade deadline. We have another one happening right now with the final 53. All these NFL teams finalizing their 53-man roster by tomorrow at 4 o'clock is that deadline. Some crazy trades and some deals got done today. First and foremost, let's talk about Kenny Pickett because this is funny and fun. But Kenny getting traded again to Vegas. Now, first and foremost, Pony, I know you were a big proponent of Kenny Pickett and a big supporter of his. So I want to get your thoughts on him now. If he gets traded just one more time in his NFL career, and that could be 10 years from now, if it happens just one more time, he will tie the record alongside Brandon Cooks for most teams that he's been on in his NFL career, which is pretty impressive considering he just entered the league a couple years ago. So first, your thoughts on that, and then also, I'm curious why the Steelers weren't a little more aggressive about this, just because, they do have a guy in Skylar Thompson, and who knows, maybe the Raiders weren't really excited about him, but when you have Jacoby Myers, saying that he wants a trade, I just feel like the Steelers would have been a little more aggressive with that, knowing their needs here still in that room.
Yeah, I'll address Kenny Pickett first. It's for a first-round pick to be traded already 3 times is a sign that, you've not developed as a number 1 quarterback, nowhere close. So he might be able to justify in his head that teams want him, that he has teams that continue to try to seek out his services, whether it be the Eagles, Browns, or Raiders. But the fact that teams keep dumping him also goes to show you that they think he's expendable and they can do without him. And in Cleveland, it's at the expense of 2 young quarterbacks, Gabriel, who I think's looked pretty good in his 2 preseason games, and Shedeur Sanders, who's an absolute disaster in the game on Saturday when he was sacked 5 times. So that would actually stick in my craw a little bit. If I were Kenny, that would be getting dumped by this team, really because they want to give Shedeur Sanders a shot. And other than that game in Carolina, he's looked dreadful in the preseason. As far as the Raiders go with the trades, Jacoby Myers had a 1,000-yard season there last year, and they threw the ball a lot because they trailed in a lot of games. But he catches the ball when it's thrown to him. He has a very low drop rate. And even when he's covered, he's still open because his contested catch rate is very high. So I think he's a very good number 2 wide receiver, which clearly is what the Steelers need or want. It's just a matter of what is Vegas going to do here. We're so close to the start of the season. They traded for Geno Smith, a 35-year-old quarterback. They've got a head coach in his 70s, Pete Carroll. I just have a hard time believing that right now the Raiders want to make a trade that makes them worse, unless things are untenable with Myers, and this is the first we're hearing about this. So I would anticipate that the Raiders hang on to him into the season unless, he's unwilling to play for that $10.5 million number, which he has way outproduced that. He's probably a $20 million receiver at this point in his career.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, guys, we're going to head to our first break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We want to hear from you guys. So we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Tom Pelissero, the only player in the last 30 seasons to be traded 3+ times within his first 4 NFL seasons with Sam Howell, who hit the mark yesterday. Kenny Pickett is now the second. And like I said, he just needs to be traded one more time, and he's tied for the NFL record for most teams. And so it's a pretty impressive record, I guess you could have there for Kenny. Now, for the Steelers case, 12 more guys were cut today. Among them, most notably, I think, is punter Cam Johnston, who was suffering that injury, that knee injury, season ending. I also thought it was kind of interesting just because Chris Boswell, if something happens to him, I guess you could keep Ben on the practice squad, maybe bring him back. But Pony, just first and foremost, what do you make of these cuts? And then we got to get to the phone lines because there's a lot of people calling in.
Yeah, I think that the Steelers made the right call in terms of, this was really a competition. Waitman was better. He had a higher punting average. His hang time was better. And he was good last year. So in that respect, I get it. The only thing that was surprising about this move, well, 2 things actually. The amount of money the Steelers gave Johnston last year. And then this preseason, it seemed like every game, Johnston got the first crack at it. And I thought that might have tipped their hand that the Steelers liked Johnston more than Waitman. But I do think in the end they made the right decision here because of how effective Waitman was at his job last year. Yeah,
and you guys can let your voices be heard. Just tap that QR code up there. Who do you think the Steelers should have kept? Corliss Waitman or Cam Johnston? So go ahead and vote there. Let's get out to the phone lines, though, because we do have a lot. We have Jim in Greentree. Jim wants to talk Steelers. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing? Hi, Chris. Hey. Okay, hi, Chris. How you doing?
This is our number 1 Cochran caller, by the way, guys. What's going on, Jim?
Okay, yeah, how you doing? Hey, Chris, how you doing? Chris, I like the Steelers over the Jets in the first game.
Okay, is that just all right? That's what he's saying. We'll see how that goes. What does make me nervous is we didn't see Aaron Rodgers play at all this entire preseason. Now the first time he's quarterbacking this offense will be against his former team. So that'll be interesting. All right, let's go out to Joe in Allison Park, who wants to talk about Kenny Pickett. Joe, what's going on?
Hi. I hope you guys are doing well tonight. The Buccos will another one. Anyways, what is going on with Kenny Pickett in Cleveland and all the quarterbacks? Can someone fill me in? I'm at a loss of words. Does this mean Sanders? Does this mean Shedeur getting another chance?
I don't really know what he means by that. Does he think that Kenny Pickett is better than the other 2 options? Here's the deal. Joe Flacco, he's an older dude, and having him as the QB1, getting rid of your essentially a backup quarterback that we all thought might win that number 2 position, and then now you have 2 rookies as your 2 backup QBs. So, I mean, I don't think it's the best case scenario, but Cleveland, I mean, since day one, this quarterback situation has been such a question mark.
Yeah, I mean, they have 2 first-round picks next year because of the Travis Hunter trade. And so my guess is they will be back at it next spring when the draft is here, trying to find, yet again, their franchise quarterback, which they've not really had. They had him, Baker Mayfield, and they let him go. So I think Kenny Pickett would have been a better option than Joe Flacco, not because I think Kenny Pickett's better than Joe Flacco, but because Joe Flacco has no upside or future there. He's 40 years old. Joe Flacco, in my opinion, is best served as a backup quarterback on a team that can win right now. You know, if I were the Lions or the Bills or somebody like that, or the Bengals, I would want a Joe Flacco as my backup quarterback, because if I lost my starter, I'd have somebody there who had won before and could get it done. You know, he's just a stopgap in Cleveland, and it's really a bridge to nowhere unless Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders stop us. But I'll say it again, I don't put a ton of stock in these preseason games, but Dylan Gabriel did play a lot better than I thought he would in the 2 games he saw action in for the Browns this preseason.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I just think it's really interesting game plan to go into a season where you have your starting quarterback as old as Joe Flacco is, and then, you know, your 2 backups are rookies. So we'll see how that pans out for Cleveland. But again, they've had quarterback issues for a while now. All right, let's go to Kirk in Manor. Kirk wants to talk about the Pirates. What's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm just asking you. Good, thanks. I'm just asking you, why is there any reason Jack Suwinski is still playing Major League Baseball? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this time and time again. I hate to harp on the kid as much as we have on this show, but he's not a consistent bat, and it's unfortunate. We've seen him recently make a couple decent plays, you know, out in the outfield, but I just think we've talked time and time again about how he, at the end of the day, is just not a Major League Baseball player. But Pony, you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, I mean, a guy that's batting around 120 should not be in the major leagues. And I know that his August stats are clearly much better than they were previously, but that's not saying much because of just how truly bad he's been, really, for an extended period of time going back to the start of last year. So they keep hoping that they're going to get the guy that we saw 2 or 3 years ago with Jack Suwinski. And I think that boat has left the shore. I think that I'm with you. I think he needs a change of scenery, or you just keep him at AAA and give somebody else a shot. Give at-bats to somebody, again, who might factor into your future plans.
Yeah. All right, we have Brad in Brookline. Brad, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Pretty ridiculous take, Mr. Fillipponi, that your tweet earlier about Kenny Pickett 2.0 Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's a slap in the face to Ryan Patrick. I mean, he put up almost 35,000 yards, and you're talking about a guy in Kenny Pickett who's bounced around and did nothing in the league.
Well, how many teams did Ryan Fitzpatrick play for, Brian?
It was a lot of teams, but he had the
That was my
magic.
point. He did. He never played in a playoff game, so there's that, too. No, I meant more as in the guy is just constantly putting a for sale sign out in front of his house and bouncing around from team to team, which is exactly what's happened with Kenny Pickett. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick has the record for the most teams played for, not the most trades, but I think he's the quarterback that's played for the most teams in NFL history.
Yeah, he very well could be. All right, guys, tap your phone, scan that QR code, let your voice be heard. Who do you think the Steelers should have kept, Corliss Waitman or Cam Johnson? We're going to head to our final break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood. Guys, the Pirates just blew it against the Cards. Final score 7-6. The Cards win it. Unfortunate, they snapped that 4-game win streak after a 3-game sweep in Colorado. So back in the losing side of things, but saw some promising stuff out there today. We also have now very much less than 24 hours. I can't do the math off the top of my head, but that deadline is tomorrow at 4 o'clock for NFL teams to finalize their 53-man roster. And Pony, another guy I'm a little anxious about, just a little bit, is Beanie Bishop, just because heading into that final preseason game, TA told all of us, like, this is the chance for Beanie to really show us what he's got, because bringing in Jalen Ramsey, I mean, that's such a threat to what he was able to do for this team last year. And a guy that, you know, in his rookie season, undrafted free agent last year, finishes with 4 interceptions and did as much as he did last year. I really thought it would be no question he makes this final 53, but now with Jalen Ramsey in, and, you know, and he's dominant at nickel as well. So, and that's really Beanie's bread and butter. So, I mean, maybe he gets out there on special teams a little bit, but he ended up not even playing in the final preseason game. It's not confirmed if it's injury related. Did see him in the locker room smiling and stuff, so we'll see. But a little anxious about that one.
Well, it's very bizarre how quickly they've changed their opinion on the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, last year he was one of the stories of training camp. He was honestly a camp darling. They had a need at nickel corner. He was so good. He started as an undrafted rookie at that spot, and I thought was solid at times. He had his ups and downs. But by the midpoint of the season, they thought Cam Sutton, who they picked up off the scrap heap, was a better nickel option than him, and Sutton was terrible.
Yeah.
And now you fast forward to now. Obviously, Ramsey is an all-time great, and Brandon Eccles can play that position too. So he's really been passed over. I'm not saying they're going to get a lot for him, but I would not be surprised given how many teams need corners and want to protect or want to stop the pass. If he gets traded tomorrow afternoon, Cassidy, for maybe like a 7th-round pick or even a 6th-round pick, that would not shock me.
Yeah, another guy I wanted to shout out who did shock me through this preseason is Carson Bruner. I know, you know, his dad, Mark, was a great tight end here for several years, 9 seasons, I believe, and a lot of people were hesitant about him, a late-round pick, but I really think he has blossomed throughout this preseason, so hopefully he also makes that final 53, but it'll be very interesting to watch how this all plays out over the next day. So we'll see. But at least, hey, football season's around the corner. That's what I'm most excited about. I'm done with this preseason and training camp and all that. I'm ready to watch real football. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That is our final poll tonight. Who should the Steelers have kept, Corliss Waitman or Cam Johnston? 66 per, oh, it's changing a little bit, but the majority, Cam Johnston. Thanks for joining us tonight, Pony. Thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next time. Same place, same time.